Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we are starting the 12th chapter, that is huge goals to help you grow. Let's start. Every bit of human progress, our inventions, big and little, our medical discoveries, our engineering triumphs, our business successes were first visualized before they became realities. Baby moons circle the earth not because of accidental discoveries, but because scientists set conquer space as a goal. A goal is an objective, a purpose. A goal is more than a dream. It's a dream being acted upon. A goal is more than a hazy, oh, I wish I could. A goal is a clear, this is what I am working toward. Nothing happens. No forward steps are taken until a goal is established. Without goals, individuals just wander through life. They stumble along, never knowing where they are going, so they never get anywhere. Goals are as essential to success as air is to life. No one ever stumbles into success without a goal. No one ever lives without air. Get a clear fix on where you want to go. Davey Mahoney rose from a $25 a week job in the mailroom of an advertising agency to an agency vice president at 27 and president of the good humor company at 33. This is what he says about goals. The important thing is not where you were or where you are, but where you want to go. The important thing is not where you were or where you are, but where you want to go. The progressive cooperation plans company goals 10 to 15 years ahead. Executives who manage leading businesses must ask, where do we want our company to be 10 years from now? Then they gaze their efforts accordingly. New plant capacity is built not for today's needs, but rather for needs 5 to 10 years in the future. Research is undertaken to develop products which won't appear for a decade or longer. The modern corporation does not leave its future to chance. Should you? Each of us can learn a precious lesson from the forward looking business. We can and should plan at least 10 years ahead. You must form an image now of the person you want to be 10 years from now if you are to become that image. This is a critical thought, just as the business that neglects to plan ahead will be just another business if it even survives. The individual that fails to set long range goals will most certainly be just another person lost in life's shuffle. Without goals, we cannot grow. Let me share with you an example of why we must have long run goals to achieve real success. Just last week, a young man, let me call him FB, came to me with a career problem. FB looked well mannered and intelligent. He was single and had finished college 4 years ago. We walked for a while about what he was doing now, his education, his aptitudes, and general background. Then I said to him, "You came to see me for help on making a job change. What kind of job are you looking for?" "Well," he said, "that's what I came to see you about. I don't know what I want to do." His problem, of course, was a very common one, but I realized that just to arrange for the young man to have interviews with several possible employers would not help him. Trial and error is a pretty poor way to select a career. With dozens of career possibilities, odds of stumbling into the right choice are several dozen to one. I knew I had to help FB so that before he starts going someplace career wise, he's got to know where that someplace is. So I said, "Let's look at your career plan from this angle. Will you describe for me your image of yourself 10 years from now?" If we, obviously studying the question, finally said, "Well, I guess I want what just about everyone else wants: a good job that pays well and a nice home." Really, though, he continued, "I haven't given it too much thought." This, I assured him, was quite natural. I went on to explain that his approach to selecting a career was like going to an airline ticket counter and saying, "Give me a ticket." The people selling the tickets just can't help you unless you give them a destination. So I said, I I can't help you find a job until I know what your destination is, and only you can tell me that. This jarred me into thinking. Before we spent the next 2 hours not talking about the merits of different kinds of jobs, but rather discussing how to set goals. We learned, I believe, the most important lesson in career planning. Before you start out, know where you want to go. Like the progressive cooperation plan ahead, you are a sense of business unit. Your talent, skills, and abilities are your products. You want to develop your products so they command the highest possible price. Forward planning will do it. Here are two steps which will help. First, visualize your future in terms of their departments: work, home, and social. Dividing your life this way keeps you from becoming confused, prevents conflicts, helps you look at the whole picture. Second, demand of yourself clear, precise answers to these questions. What do I want to accomplish with my life? What do I want to be? And what does it take to satisfy me. Use the planning guide below to help. An image of me 10 years from now, 10 years planning guide. A work departments 10 years from now. Number 1, what income level do I want to attain? Number 2, what level of responsibility do I seek? Number 3, how much authority do I want to command? Number 4, what prestige do I expect to gain from my work? B. Home department 10 years from now. Number 1, what kind of standard of living do I want to provide for my family and myself? Number 2, what kind of house do I want to live in? Number 3, what kind of vacations do I want to take? Number 4, what financial support do I want to give my children in their early adult years? C. Social department 10 years from now. Number 1, what kind of friends do I want to have? Number 2, what social groups do I want to join? Number 3, what community leadership position what would I like to hold? Number 4, what worthwhile causes do I want to champion? A few years ago, my young son insisted the two of us build a doghouse for Peanut, an intelligent pup of dubious pedigree and my son's pride and joy. His persistence and enthusiasm won, so we proceeded to build a home Peanut could call her own. Our combined carpentry talent equaled zero, and the end product clearly reflected that fact. Shortly afterward, a good friend stopped by and, upon seeing what we had done, asked, "What's that you have stuck up there among the trees?" "There's not a doghouse, is it?" I replied that it was. Then he pointed out just a few of our mistakes and summed it all up with, "Why didn't you get a plan? Nobody these days builds a doghouse without a blueprint. And please, as you visualize your future, don't be afraid to be blue sky. People these days are measured by the size of their dreams. Not no one accomplishes more than he sets out to accomplish. So visualize a big future." Below is a word for word excerpt from the life plan of one of my former trainees. Read it. Note how well this fellow visualized his home future. As he wrote this, it is obvious he really saw himself in the future. My home goal is to own a country estate. The house will be of the typical southern manor type, two stories, white columns, and all. We will have the grounds fenced in and probably will have a fish pond or two on the place as my wife and I both enjoy fishing. We will keep our Doberman kennels back of the house somewhere. The thing I have always wanted is a long, winding driveway with trees lining each side. But a house is not necessarily a home. I am going to do everything I can to make our house more than just a place to eat and sleep. Of course, we do not intend to leave God out of our plans, and throughout the years, we will spend a certain amount of time in church activity. 10 years from now, I want to be in a position to take a family cruise around the world. I would like very much to do this before the family gets scattered all over the world by marriages, etc. If we can't find time to make the cruise all at once, we will put it into 4 or 5 separate vacations and visit a different part of the world each year. Naturally, all these plans in home department depend on how well things go in my work department. So I will have to keep on the ball if I am to accomplish all this. This plan was written 5 years ago. The trainee then owned two small dime stores. Now he owns five, and he has purchased 17 acres for his country estate. He is thinking and progressing right along toward his goal. The three departments of your life are closely interrelated. Each depends on the other to some extent, but the one department which has the most influence over the other departments is your work. Thousands of years ago, caveman the caveman who had the happiest home life and was most respected by his cave mates was the fellow who was most successful as a hunter. As a generalization, the same point holds true today. The standard of living we provide our families and the social and community respect we attain depends largely on our success in the work department. Not long ago, the McKinsey Foundation for Management Research conducted a large scale study to determine what it takes to become an executive leaders in business, government, science, and religion were questioned over and over again in different ways. These researchers kept getting one answer. The most important qualification for an executive is the sheer desire to get ahead. Remember this advice of John Wanamaker. A man is not doing much until the cause he works for possesses all there is of him. Desire, when harnessed, is power. Failure to follow desire, to do what you want to do most, paves the way to mediocrity. I recall a conversation with a very promising young writer on a college newspaper. This fellow had ability. If anyone showed promise for a career in journalism, it was he. Shortly before his graduation, I asked him, well, Jane, what are you going to do? Get into some form of journalism? Jane looked at me and said, heck no. I like writing and reporting very much, and I have had a lot of fun working on the college paper. But journalists are a dime a dozen, and I don't want to starve. I didn't see nor hear from Dan for 5 years. Then one evening I chanced to meet him in New Orleans. Dan was working as an assistant personal director for an electronics company, and he was quick to let me know that he was quite dissatisfied with his work. Oh, I am reasonably well paid. I am with a wonderful company and I have got reasonable security. But my heart isn't in it. I wish no I would gone with a publisher or newspaper when I finished school. Dan's attitude reflected boredom, disinterest. He was cynical about many things. He will never achieve maximum success until he quits his present job and gets into journalism. Success requires heart and soul effort, and you can only put your heart and soul into something you really desire. Had Dan followed his desire, he could have risen to the very top in some phase of communication, and over the long pull, he would have made much more money and achieved far more personal satisfaction than he will find in his present kind of work. Switching from what you don't like to do to what you do like to do is like putting a 500 horsepower motor in a 10-year-old car. All of us have desires. All of us all of us dream of what we really want to do, but few of us actually surrender to desire. Instead of surrendering to desire, we murder it. Uh, Thank you so much. If you are new on the channel, subscribe the channel and press bell icon so that you will get notification about the new video upload. And don't forget to like and share. We will continue in next session.